Yeah, now come on, you're on a new wave now, bro.
Up, then
You're on a whole new wave now.
stop it. Stop it.
I wish.
Stop it.
Looking all grizzly and stuff. Live on camera. Got me out here looking all Neanderthal. How you guys doing?
We're good, man.
We're back. Another episode.
Mm-hmm.
Things have progressed. Absolute scenes on Saturday.
Chaos and mayhem.
How are you guys feeling? What are your views like?
Once again, we're proving that the UK is not innocent. That's what
100%. I mean, the notion was never that the UK was innocent. I'm sure people knew that the UK has had its own fair share of... I don't even know what to call it.
I think the UK has somehow deflected everything that they've done in history over the past 500 years.
100%. Whitewashed it.
Because really, if we're being honest here, slavery starts with them, and transatlantic slave trade. We can't act as if they weren't integral in it all.
Oh, 100%. They played a pivotal point.
Yeah.
We already know that the British Empire held many islands within the so-called British Empire.
Mm.
We already know what happened to India. We already know about the Caribbean. We know that to this day people are still receiving reparations, or former slave owners have received reparations for having to give up the lands that they had in the Caribbean and places like that.
More so than reparations to the slaves, to the actual slaves
And
that had been,
themselves,
or
people
the
that actually
ancestors
suffered.
of the descendants of slaves.
100%. I watched a documentary on it, and they were talking about a couple of the people who had actually owned slaves in the Caribbean, and still to this day
Yeah.
are profiting off it, making to what is the equivalent of $1 million today. Could you imagine having $1 million back then?
The whole thing is just like backwards. You don't think that the ancestors of slaves should be receiving it, not the
Truly.
Not
slave
even
owners?
the country where they came from, because I mean, giving the money
Yeah.
to an individual person, I can understand where the sense in that doesn't really come from, do you know what I mean? But give it to the countries that suffered from this, do you know what I mean? Actually show that you care, because fair enough, leaving the country alone and saying, alright, we're gonna so-called abolish slavery.
Yeah.
Saying, alright, that's enough to atone for the
The
sins.
damage has been done already.
All you've done is literally said, alright, we'll let you go back to what? Not even go back, because you would never
There's
really
no
be the
going-
same. There is no
yeah.
going back. You're always going to be
It
damaged
needs to
in
be.
a sense. You're always going to be a diaspora.
Yeah. Oh, fun fact. Do you not know that trauma is said to be passed on through generations?
100%. It's in your DNA.
So, yeah, exactly. In our DNA speaking, you carry that trauma or distrust or anger, aggression against those that did you wrong, i.e. not to say white people, but to say slave owners.
Literally, we can't. We're not just labeling everyone.
Yeah,
just saying
no, come on.
slave owners. We already know. Yes,
Exactly.
times have changed, but just because it's a different time doesn't mean it just hasn't been given a new face in a sense.
And then the issue here is those that are silent to the issues that are at hand, and those what was the other one? And those that fail to accept who they truly are or what they are. Because I always forget this with white friends or white people. They tend not to understand that you can be a nice person and still be a racist. So it's like, as soon as you call someone a racist, they think they get so offended. Or at least in this country, what the issue is, because we don't talk about it. They get so offended so quickly at the sheer idea that they're racist, because they see it as like a real defamation of their character. Like, I've been labelled as X. Essentially at this point, it feels to me as if being called a racist has as much weight behind it as being called, say, a paedophile, or nothing else, because we're not gonna compare sort of.
You can't really.
It's not hard to. It's not.
Right.
It's very hard to compare. But
I understand what
in
you're
terms
saying,
of the weight of the word.
because I get where it's in a sense of, if you aren't something, why is being called as?
Yeah. Why can't you talk
such
about
a-
it? Why do you feel so sensitive about said issues or said topics?
On that note, that takes me to one pivotal thing I want to talk about today. I was going to start in other places, but I feel like with the tensions that have built over such a small thing when you really think about it, and what it's unfolded into, it's just got to show where the problem really lies. And the proof is in the pudding. There are pictures out there, videos. I mean, you can't possibly dress this any other way. Although the news will try to, as we've already seen, they're gonna try and throw in all the Black Lives Matter protesters.
You got
in with all those absolute. You know what? The definition of animals. Actual definition of animals. They're out here making monkey noises at us, throwing bananas at us, calling us names and stuff, calling us animals, savages, saying that we need to be
we're
tamed.
protecting the country.
Well, and then you go out there and you act like that, and you have the audacity to say that we are the problem. I mean, come on.
But then the media, as Tariq was saying, are being corrupt. The general media that we have for this country is always going to spin it in a way that doesn't show the true story, or it doesn't truly represent what was actually going on.
100%.
So, and you've always got to look in the subtleties of the titles. So, for example, a very small minority of protesters. If we were black people, it would be the majority of rioters. There's semantics.
Even if it was black people, it wouldn't even need to be a large group. Maybe 2 or 3.
Bro,
it would have been mass mob.
Literally anyone of colour.
Anyone of colour. Look at how they dressed it up. 10 a.m. in the morning, you've got people drinking, screaming, shouting slurs down the street.
Drinking your K-cider, your Stella.
Literally. And then, not only that, they were slandering people for attacking the police, right? Calling people animals, saying you people have no respect for the people here to protect you. To then go out, once again, and attack the very same people you were out here screaming at other people for so-called attacking, so-called disturbing the peace. And look at you now, out here, acting like that.
And they literally didn't even come to do what they were supposed to do. They came to come defend the statues, right?
Yes,
but these statues not all boarded up to begin with anyway.
Supposedly defend the statues.
So what are you truly trying to defend? If I don't know, if I had something of value and then I saw that it was blocked and barricaded to the brim, I'd look at it and I think, that's calm. There's no way someone's gonna be able to get through this and then do something to this big ass statue.
100%.
And more violence was ensued yesterday than any all the riots combined.
Exactly.
And when we even talk about the violence and we even look at the actual violence that's going on in America, we already know what's going on with it. Everyone, not everyone knows, but most people have heard about Antifa. Anti-fascists. They hate fascists. They're out there to give them a hard time, or they're out there initially to do to them what they want to do to us. But those people get lumped in with the actual people that are out there peacefully protesting. And you know what's crazy? The majority of those people aren't even black. I did some research on them. The anti-fascist movement started in France, and it was by a bunch of white people. So I don't understand how you're then gonna lump this protest in.
Can we backtrack quick?
Let's go ahead.
Okay, cool. So, when we were talking about reparations, and it would make more sense to give slavers, to give
the country,
or the country or descendants, the descendants of slave owners of slaves, some sort of reparation, and people have already calculated how much it would be like 200k per person or something. Yeah. I don't know. 14 trillion in total. Yeah, spread across however many people are descendants of X. That's we will never get to that point, because still global institutions and countries of the highest bracket of power still profit off of Africa, and most specifically the French, the Belgium. And the Belgians, and there are several countries that still profit substantially off of Africa, but most specifically the French, because the French, Haiti still has Algeria, the list goes on, still have to pay France, colonial tax and reparations for their independence. As a basic human right.
To be free, you're gonna have to pay someone for it.
Exactly, and we're still doing this in 2020, because really it would negatively affect, it would adversely affect the French and a lot of modern European Western societies to
companies, corporations, because then they would initially have to give money back.
Exactly, to start giving, it would affect them monetarily, and money means everything in this world.
100%.
Because truth be told, we're coming out of lockdown June 15th tomorrow, and really we are in no position to even think to look at moving out of lockdown. Bruv, I saw today the government has scrapped their plans of letting primary school kids return to
100%.
to school for the
go back to school. But
but they've stopped that for the next 4 weeks. Firstly, what do you truly gain from allowing kids to go back into school for the 4 weeks before summer?
allows parents to go back to work.
Yeah, no, true.
Which is then going to allow the economy to open up better. They're not really thinking about anyone's safety.
No.
All they care about is making money because, they're thinking, we want your kids to go back to learning. No. We want to free up your time so you can come make us some of this money back. Do you know what I mean? Because even with all the furlough schemes that they've put out, they've told companies that by a certain date, we're going to hand this back over to you. It's not going to happen. We're handing it over to you now. You've got to handle these payments yourself.
I heard that they weigh it.
Most of it.
I heard that they began weighing it to minimum wage.
No, it's only for some people. For the majority of people. But for some people, it was just kept to your majority of your salary. But honestly, none of what they have planned.
And this is why the whole system needs to change.
The whole system needs to be changed.
That's why when we scream abolish the police, that doesn't mean, again, as I said last week, or
why are we going to abolish? Why not say reform?
No, because it's done. We're past that point. Me and Tariq said before, from in America when the police department is based entirely off of, or has evolved entirely off of the slave patrol. You can't reform that. They still have ideologies that, as much as they don't want to accept it, you still have ideologies that are in line with what you were created to do. Can't run. And it can't run here, truth be told.
You know what? That takes me back,
Yeah.
There's something I want to visit because it's something that no one really talks about. The government that took care of the whole Windrush generation.
Yeah.
In the whole sense of you talking about ideology, that government is technically the same government that's been running the country up until now.
Yeah, conservative.
The way the country's been going, and we've seen how the country stands today. And they say they're going to answer for these things, but
they never do.
They never really do. I mean, for example, Grenfell.
Exactly. Me and Tariq
they were talking about not even just dealing with Grenfell itself, the other buildings that could possibly end up in the same situation as Grenfell.
That have the same.
We were going to deal with it in a month, guys. We are completely outraged by all the people that lost their lives. We're going to deal with it, guys. Don't worry, we're going to deal with it. We're going to deal with it. How many months on now?
How many years?
How many years on now?
We're 3 years on.
And
still hiding.
Wasn't it meant to be done within a month or 4 weeks or something?
That's the biggest issue.
They're still hiding lives lost. There's way more than 72 people living in that building.
Exactly.
So those are people that are still not accounted for. So you can clearly see.
And you've got a list of people that you can confirm the bodies, but when everything's burnt us in there, you're just going to tell me that they're missing. Missing from what? They were at yard. So they're definitely dead.
And it goes back to what we're saying. They really don't care.
They don't.
The Windrush generation, they were sending people back home that they necessarily bought their ancestors over here to build their economy
your city.
Not even city, your nation.
Your nation.
Your nation. You brought them over here to help, but you're basically standing on their shoulders initially.
But you know what it comes down to is the fact that in the world in general, the governments that run your countries and legislate and put in place legislations, etc., are all from elitist, the highest bracket of private education, and basically very close-minded individuals that do not know what real life actually is. They've never had to suffer. They've never had true turmoil.
Well, you know what? We can't even say
Theresa May's out here dancing in flipping fields and shit
in Africa,
stop it. Kate, wait, what did Kate Hopkins do? Did she pipe someone in the field?
Yeah, she was out
here all of these
things
in
the field, out here just spreading
things that aren't deemable as individuals.
Tommy Robinson,
but then
different bracket.
So these are the individuals, your Boris Johnsons, who have documented evidence of their racism, so Boris Johnson has a few books that he's published, and a lot of them. They're supposed to be comedic, but they just incite very racial slurs like pickaninnies and some real 1860s, 1960s shit that you've never heard of in your life, bro. Some jigaboos and collywogs and
that's the same thing we were talking about Winston Churchill. Everyone is outraged at the idea of taking the man's statue down. Now, it's not a case of we're saying take the man's statue down. We're saying think about the idea of having the man's statue taken down. Think about the things that he said. Yes, the man may have aided in pushing back Adolf Hitler. Yeah, thank you. But is that not something he should have done anyway? You're acting like it was something that he didn't have to do.
See, now...
So, once again, they're teaching the wrong things in schools, but when it comes to history right now too, bro.
Yeah. It's because, as we know, the history that you're going to be taught is always going to favour the
winner.
Yeah, not even the winner. It's going to favour the country you're in, or necessarily the or the winner, you could say.
Because it's just the countries that we're in are always the winners.
100%.
But
yeah, teaching the wrong things like Gandhi. Everyone thinks Gandhi's like, bro, he's a paedophile. I'm sorry, but
Gandhi was a
so
big
so
fat
many
paedophile.
things like undercover that they
And
hide
racist.
in the history books.
because
Truly.
these are things that they don't want you to see.
No,
The smoke
yeah,
screen.
it's things that don't paint them in a good light. But sorry, back to Winston Churchill. I'm all for tearing down his statue. I don't understand. I mean, I
Just
think
tell them why. Tell them why.
why?
Why?
Because that man was a fat racist, and we love to say, oh, he defeated the Germans. He beat Firstly, the soldiers hated him. They did not like him. When they came back, they didn't want him in power because it's not like he died after the World War.
No.
He was still there. He just got.
And the majority of the public voted him out.
Exactly.
So
by the standards of that generation, they didn't like him,
Man
and
of the
they
hour,
didn't
literally.
want him. So why are you defending a dead man's grave or statue off of the basis of he defeated Germany? Again, he didn't defeat Germany because of a lack of humanitarian rights, or the fact that Adolf Hitler was speaking so highly of the Aryan race, and he despised black people and people of color and etc. It wasn't because of any of those things. It was strictly because he saw Germany as a threat to the British.
Threat to everyone, which they were.
If anything, he very much respected Adolf Hitler, and he very much aligned with the same things that Hitler was speaking about.
And Stalin.
And Stalin. The same way. Sorry, go on.
I'll let you continue. We'll get on to that later.
The same way we get onto Adolf Hitler about his comments about on racism or racial slurs, etc. Is the same way Winston Churchill had continued throughout his life to speak so poorly on
the Indians,
on everyone that wasn't white.
People in the Caribbean.
Look it up. He believed in white supremacy. He believed in an ultimate race, and he believed that the whites were on top. He also believed that he also felt no sort of way of endangering, damaging, or killing those who weren't white.
Literally.
So his comments on Indians, his comments on Asians, his comments on quote unquote tribal individuals, always showed no empathy. Bro, when India was going through a famine, he said, "Well, I'm not gonna misquote him, but it was along the lines of, I feel no sort of way for a race that's below me," and that was his reasoning behind several other atrocities that he's doing. He's the reason for 84,000 Indians dying. He's the reason for a few genocides. He's also the reason for I can't think of anything else. But that guy was he just, all in all, he was not a good person. So I think now to say, well, I don't know why we've erected this statue in his honor. Go on, G.
Like the same reason, like I said last week with the whole American thing. Like both countries care so much about the patriotism when it comes to this stuff. Like he's a hero, right? To them, he's a hero, right? All they care about is Germany. They don't care about all the underlying stuff, all the other things he's done. That's what they care about.
All they care about is the fact that he got the job done. Literally.
But then I'd also say it's still tight because, truth be told, did I care about whether or not Winston Churchill had a statue in Central?
No,
nah.
not really.
I can't even remember ever going past that statue.
Literally.
It means
I didn't know it was there.
It didn't mean anything to me. But because we're in this time where we're looking at racial injustice and
Tensions are high.
Exactly, and tensions are high. We're now screaming for the application of the removal of Winston Churchill's statue.
All these figures that
These figures that
still hold the message that we're trying to have abolished. It's not even that. We're just trying to get rid of racism, get rid of just the racial inequalities and tensions that are currently still hanging in times. Why? Because these things are still about. The fact that you can go into central London and walk past a statue of Winston Churchill, who, fair enough, got the job done. However, he still did things that should not stand in society. You're basically saying, right, we like this man, we like everything he's done.
But the reason I say it's tight is because as much I used to be the person that said, oh, we can't judge someone by our times because back in the day everything was racist, was what it was. But that doesn't really make sense to me anymore because there were still people that weren't racist, or as a human being you should know what right or wrong is, no matter what the generation is. No matter what people around you are doing, because you're not a sheep.
Literally.
You don't follow the flock of the masses. That, especially as a leader.
100%.
Now, sorry, the reason I'm saying it's tight is because there are a lot of other historic figures that have done or said similar things, or have done, or a lot of the things that they have done or said have been wiped from history. I.e., Abraham Lincoln, who, as much as he
so-called revolutionists,
as much as he quote freed all the slaves, he spoke very poorly on black people.
It's not even
and
poorly,
people.
lowly. It's simply lowly. He never believed that we would be, if not equal, even above. It was impossible. We were always below, but we deserve to be free. So you can clearly see, although there was the best intentions there, you still see the standard that you held up.
Yeah, it was like,
it shows
if I
no
have
change.
to.
Literally, it was no change. It's kind of like, you know what? I kind of want you at my back, so I'm gonna do you a favor. You know, I'm just gonna free you, but you're never gonna be.
You're never truly.
I'll never see you in the light you want to be seen.
No.
Well, not even like you want to be seen, the light you should be seen in. But we're meant to hail these people as heroes, so-called heroes of change.
But then, do you go and tear down statues of, say, Abraham Lincoln? Of, I don't know if FDR did anything, but
that's why I'm saying, come on. The problem wasn't we want to tear down the statue. It was
to
want you to think about
make
what
you
you've done here. Yeah, because you seem to believe you're not racist. You seem to believe your country's not racist, but no, you are able to wake up at 10 a.m. in the morning, 10 a.m. and get yourself a Stella. Maybe a KA, maybe a Foster's even.
Coming from Essex everywhere.
Yeah, Essex everywhere.
South End.
Like you're out on a Saturday night for some Saturday night football.
Don's
like Tottenham and Arsenal are playing the derby. Ready and prepared.
For a statue you probably never see. Probably
for a
statue
you never seen. You probably didn't even know where it was.
Some of them, man, might not have ever been to London until this point.
You probably didn't even know where it was. You probably just follow people.
Exactly. You're hearing this. Like, what? There's a Winston Churchill statue.
A statue, Winston? I didn't even know about him. What wasn't he on TV once?
And come around as a Memorial Day
and then you're gonna slander. Not only you're gonna slander people for attacking, causing trouble, disturbing the peace, to then go out there and do the exact same thing.
The reason they don't, sorry to
I'm saying, and they pissed on a flipping policeman's memorial too.
And pissing on hold on that note, I've got to continue. And then you're gonna say, we're not racist. I've got to go back to that point because that's what everyone seems to be saying. Even P.S. Morgan was saying, nah, we can't turn down Winchester Churchill.
P.S. Morgan,
he's not a racist. Tell me why we should tear down his statue. She tells him why. Tell me why we should tear down his statue.
What more do you need?
But I'm telling tell me why. Would you want to tear it down? I'm not saying we should tell me. Piers, I'm going to get on to you later. And then you're going to go there and sig hail in front of the statue. Was this man not fighting the very man that was advocating for that thing? The very racist, fascist man that you guys are saying was an evil man. The very reason you have this statue up there in the first place, and you're gonna go do that in front of it. Come on, mate.
Come on, mate.
Come on, mate.
Taking the piss.
Sorry, let me go way back.
Take it back, bro.
I appreciated that.
I had to let that one out. I had to let that one out.
Yeah, you good. Understood that. That needed to be said. The reason, for me, I think, the reason that we don't say this country's racist, or we don't look at it as a racist country. Well, not we. Obviously, us, we know what it is.
Yeah.
But the general public,
we know what it is. We're aware of what it is. We're aware of what's going on.
We've been living through what it is.
Yeah,
sorry. So yeah, the reason that we won't say that or do any of these things is because Britain likes to the British and their idea of their sovereignty and their power always comes back from the British Empire. So they've always felt as if they are above everyone else in the world. And in terms of GDP, in terms of like economically speaking, you are in the top 10 economies in the world. Fair, granted to you. The fact that they can look at America, quote unquote cousins call it, and see racism is so clearly illustrated in America through the police, the people that I was meant to serve and protect you, killing unarmed black people. That dog got lynched the other day, and we haven't said anything about this.
4 people have been lynched. 4 people.
During protests about equality, and you cannot see the racism in it. So, sorry, that's what makes...
Come on. For anyone who doesn't know what lynching is, a man has been hung from a tree.
And they have...
You ever see it on the news?
They've deemed it as suicide. You don't see it on the news.
You haven't seen it on the
because
news.
then it would further escalate, perpetuate the idea that your country is racist. Sorry. So because America has racism so clearly illustrated in their country, the UK can look at themselves and say, well, we're not doing that, so we're not racist.
Yeah.
But it's real. It's so subtle.
So yeah, because here I told yesterday, you guys finally showed your true colours.
Exactly. And even then,
you tried so hard to hold back, but
but then the media are going to go do damage control and give you very little amount of protesters were seen to act violently against the police. I saw today, I saw today one guy in some comments was like, okay, so there was a tweet about, well, this is what a racist country looks like. Look at these who are coming who are coming to protect the statue, but really are fighting the police. Yeah, so they went. So this guy's reply to that was, well, there were 24 people injured, there were 24 policemen injured during the Black Lives Matter riots, and there were only 6 people injured today. So clearly you can see who the violent ones were.
6 in a day.
That was from the videos. There was way more than 6.
6 in a day.
Way more than 6.
Protecting the statue.
There's been way more Black Lives Matter protests than that one yesterday.
There are definitely more people protesting peacefully at the Black Lives Matter protests. And then you want to come with your 6 policemen injured.
Man, it's not even that.
What's going on for you?
6 policemen injured
in a day.
Protecting a statue.
True. A statue. A statue. Also, I'd like to say as well, the feds started charging on the protesters. So if a man gets injured, that's on you. That don that got
hit by the traffic light.
Yeah, that got hit by the traffic light. He counts towards your stat of injured. But you're not gonna act as if you're not gonna act as if he was injured by a protester
directly. No.
Also, all of them are in riot gear, man. I lie for your nonsense injury.
They're doing their jobs.
I sprained my finger. Shut up.
Honestly, there's so much more going on.
And
man, hold on. You know what? I feel like this has to be done again because I watched that Dave Chappelle 8 minutes and 46 seconds. If you haven't done it, go and check that out.
He speaks about Kobe.
Yep.
I don't.
That 30 minutes, I was a solid 30 minutes. A solid 30 minutes of my life that I dedicated to that video, and I couldn't be happier because the fact that he emphasized something that I think a lot of people have overlooked. 8 minutes and 46 seconds. That's how long George Floyd
rest in peace.
Had a knee on his neck for. Rest in peace, man. Rest in peace. 8 minutes and 46 seconds. The other police officers had their hands in their pockets and watched this other police officer kill that man.
Free on his...
All free.
Yeah.
Free. Watch this police officer kill this man. 8 minutes and 46 seconds. Just deep it. Just deep it. But there's one more thing I want to touch on as well. One more thing that oh, sorry, no, go ahead, bro.
I don't even think it's legal practice in, say, the UFC or actual martial arts for anyone to be on a man's neck for that long. I mean, rounds don't go that long.
Even a minute on a man's neck, a minute. Not even, it's like not even light pressure. We're talking full body weight.
And
full body weight.
They're trying to put flipping a ban on chokeholds and everything now in America right now.
Yeah.
8 minutes 46 seconds.
It's like, but that's not enough.
Oh, yo, sorry to bring this back.
No, go ahead.
So, a video surfaced again on Twitter. There was a whole nother incident last year, 2019. Or the exact same thing that happened. A man said, "I cannot breathe."
Bro.
Same exact thing happened again, but no one saw that. That didn't surface.
Was that the one in France?
Yeah, see, that
no,
happened in France.
It was in America.
Was that in
This
America?
one happened in America.
You know what? I think this is a regular thing because, as you said, videos are now surfacing where this isn't the first time it's happened.
So how much happened? How
And those
many
people are lucky they haven't lost their lives. What about the people that have? That haven't turned up? That haven't managed to be videoed? That haven't managed to have protests backing them, donations? And you know what? Another thing, Candace Owens, get out of here, man. Get out of here, man. Get on my nerves.
Do me a favour, please.
Do me a favour, please. Get out of here, man. Actually, I'm gonna watch this, but still.
We're spending an account with the video.
Hey, Joe Budden's out. Candace
Owens out. We're back.
Candace.
Because Joe Budden didn't want to flip and take any of our calls.
He didn't want to reply.
Never wanted to reply, man.
I wanted it to, but you know what, Candace, I'm sorry. Why, man? Why is... There's always someone. There's always someone.
There's always
and it had to be you. Like Dave Chappelle said, yeah, how many of these people that are advocating for your so-called cause are going to turn up at your funeral? How many of them even like you? All you're doing is amplifying their voice. The voice of hate and racism.
Lovely.
Candace, as my good friend Dr. Umar Johnson.
Oh no, not Dr.
Yeah,
Umar.
so bad.
Not Dr. Umar, man. It's all the Trump supporters.
It is all the Trump supporters, man. It is, man. It is.
Those
You
ones that
can
have
see what's
just-
happened to the country.
They've been get outed.
100%. 100%.
All
In the
of them,
sunken
I
place.
refuse.
They have sunken so far.
We got Kanye out of the sunken place, and now he's back on our side.
He was just fronting. He was fronting the sunken place.
Yeah, Kanye
true.
was just tipped. You Kanye crazy, man. You know what you're doing out here.
What? Kanye crazy, man.
He is.
Kanye is also a genius. Let's
But-
not forget.
I don't want to let this man escape because I feel
Who, Kanye West?
no, not Kanye West. No. This man, who we know has perpetuated the acts that have gone on Saturday. We know exactly
Tommy.
why
Yeah.
those things happen,
Yeah.
but no one's gonna say it. Everyone's gonna let it slide under the curb because you dropped a statement the next day saying, "Oh, I didn't mean it like that." We know how you meant it, my back, my guy. We know you as well. Get out of here, man. Get out of here. You and Candace, same boat, just roll off a waterfall.
Nah, man, they
Right
wouldn't even
off
like each other, bro.
Nah, they will be best friends.
What, Tommy?
Yeah,
Tommy
what?
try and beat him up.
Tommy and Candace.
But like, what a black man.
Wow, bro, I'm sorry. He should be held accountable. He
No,
was promoting
100%.
hate speech, 100%, and he was promoting violence. He may not think he was. In fact, you know what? We knew he was.
I don't want to hear that. Oh, I was angry when I was speaking. I don't
Yeah, I
want
was
to hear
angry when I
none
was
of that.
speaking.
You
I
knew
didn't
what
mean
you
it
were
like
doing,
that. I'm here for the movement. I understand completely what's going on. If you understood, you would have kept your mouth quiet. If you understood, you wouldn't have said what you said. In fact, you probably would have said something different and made a change. But no, what did you do? You got yourself some petrol, made your way down the hill,